you
Ain't
do.
no mystery about here.
I know you do.
Man,
I know you
get your
know.
fat
I know. I know you.
Think I ain't spoke to my son. Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas. He's going to prison.
I said a while ago when T.I.'s son King was getting a lot of flack and a lot of heat in the media, that to me he just looked like a young kid that wanted to prove to his father that he was a man too.
Tomka Tiny Harris recently blasted T.I. with divorce papers, which caused King Harris's legal issues to take a sharp turn for the worse. Why? The fact that T.I. disowned King following his recent arrest was too much for her to bear. The problem is that T.I. isn't even attempting to resolve the divorce or put things right. Now that the situation has become so chaotic, all members of the family are accusing one another. The family is being torn apart by the stress, and everyone is questioning who is truly to blame for the outcome. Either King threw everything away to live the life of a mobster, or his parents gave him everything they could. For many, Tiny and T.I.'s separation may come as a surprise. They have been together for decades and have experienced everything together, after all. In actuality though, their marriage had always had problems. The tipping point occurred in October 2024. Immediately following King's careless arrest that brought the entire family into the public eye, King had almost collided with a police cruiser while driving his BMW erratically out of a fueling station. What the police discovered when they pulled him over made things 10 times worse, so the timing couldn't have been worse. The officers smelt marijuana as soon as they approached the vehicle. Then they saw that he had a gun in his jeans. It was already looking bleak for King at that time. What appeared when they ran his name after they confiscated the pistol and placed him in handcuffs? An outstanding arrest warrant from 2022, excessive speeding, driving with a suspended license.
Alright, I need you to step out the vehicle.
What you want to do? You want to take my gun off my head?
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
It's guns in here.
Alright, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You gotta take the
There's no safety.
take the
Okay.
clip out of it.
Well, I'm not gonna mess around with that too much. Let me just set this down right here. Dude, step out
Get out
for me.
now.
Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me. Alright, right now you're just being detained. You're not under arrest.
Are you straight?
I'm gonna be at the church. Alright, I appreciate you being cool, man. We're just gonna take a look at this information, make sure it's valid.
I ain't tripping this.
Just take a step to the side for me.
And a DUI are what truly set this whole situation off. It's all awful news. If he had just kept his calm, he could have gotten away that day. Instead, everything he had done wrong in the past fell apart, and the internet ripped him to pieces the instant the arrest video appeared online. King knew he had finally gone too far this time, and that was the only thing that was evident from it. You can feel the regret in his eyes. Even though he isn't crying in the 30-minute film, he seems to understand that cooperation is the only way to improve the situation, and that likely required a great deal of discipline for someone like King. We've all witnessed his outbursts in public. On social media, however, this video was the complete opposite of the King. King's composure throughout it all amazed even the arresting officer. But that didn't assist his case. After the warrant was recalled, he was transferred to Pickens County, but he still ended up at the DeKalb County Jail. Fans were unrestrained in their comments as the video went viral. He was referred to as a trust fund prison punk by one user, and the comment received a lot of likes because to how humorous it was. He was chastised in another comment for wanting to appear as though he came from nothing yet, believing that his parents' money could save him. The problem is that King wasn't the only one who suffered because the aftermath not only affected him but also tore into his parents' marriage, causing the previously stated cracks to completely collapse. Tiny was enraged and had receipts to back it up. Despite Tibbs' attempts to play the distraught father, she blatantly stated King's spiral as the reason she was done in her divorce documents. Remarkably, Tip didn't resist or even attempt to make things right because, in his opinion, he had fulfilled his paternal role and King had only himself to blame for his problems. That may sound harsh, but it's the truth. T.I. went online around the time King began to gain popularity in 2022 and pleaded with him to calm down. He claimed that King was on a perilous course and would go to jail if he didn't exercise caution. T.I. went on to say that he had been saying the same thing to Tiny and his grandmother. If they didn't want to watch King waste his life, they all had to watch him. Furthermore, T.I. wasn't merely speaking as a worried dad. Rather, he was speaking as someone who had served time in prison, understood the consequences, and didn't want to see another young guy end up there.
Hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his ass going to prison. If you got to keep this up, his ass going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had the conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's gonna turn out.
But Tiny didn't believe it. Actually, it just strengthened her position against T.I. throughout the divorce. She asserted that T.I. had failed to fulfill his paternal duties, and that he would not have deviated so greatly from the light if he had been more assertive and present with King Harris. She's also not incorrect. Since Tiny found out she was expecting King, T.I. has been in and out of jail. King was already accustomed to growing up without a father figure by the time he left for good. Because T.I. allegedly whisked King off to his grandmother's place, his presence also didn't really make a difference. King once disclosed that, despite his parents' affluence, he didn't have a lot of money growing up because he lived with his grandmother. Actually, King was only permitted to visit his parents' home during the periods they were filming their reality television program. It is not unexpected that King began searching for outside diversions in such a household setting, and he got closer to a future in prison with each trick he did. King's 2022 Waffle House crash-out was one instance that demonstrated to the public how terrible things had gotten with him. It all began when a waiter mistook King's order for pickles, although he hadn't requested them. That was all it took for King to start yelling at the worker. King shared a video of the entire horrific altercation on social media, but instead of helping him appear tough, it only made him appear like a pampered brat and raised doubts about T.I.'s decision to let King run amok. Tiny was incensed when Tip made that video warning King because he ought to have done all of that training and warning years ago, but didn't, for a while.
Stop talking to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name?
What's your name?
My name King. You know it and your mama know it. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. File show.
Come back.
What? On game what? On game what? Come here. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. Come here.
Their relationship appeared to be improving, but T.I. was unable to conceal his dissatisfaction from King for very long. And that sentiment finally came to the surface when King and T.I. got into a heated disagreement that swiftly descended into violence during an Atlanta Falcons game. Tip became agitated when King made remarks about not having privilege as a child, which sparked the altercation. He intervened right away to reprimand King, reminding him that he had it easy as a child. The next thing you know, King is flinging his hands at his father because he couldn't stand it. The fight was really fierce. As the video shows, it appeared as though T.I. was prepared to beat the living daylights out of King and forget that this was a child. Within hours after it was posted online, the video received thousands of likes, and people were applauding T.I. for correcting King.
To make him look better, he said he know not true. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, Tip used to have to come to my grandma's house, because I'm getting in the fight.
You cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath.
Every day.
I know you. You capping. I know you. I know you. I know you.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you
Ain't no
though.
mystery about here.
I know you though.
Man,
I know you though.
Shut up.
I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business.
He ought to have busted his ass. That library book is past due. If you don't investigate the issue, it will eventually turn against you. King has gotten out of hand. Offer up prayers for their family. But Tiny wasn't pleased with the altercation, and she didn't enjoy how T.I. made King feel so embarrassed. You can only imagine how shocked she was to learn that T.I. had evicted King from the house so he could learn to live on his own. She thought he went too far, and the consequences led to a serious rift in their relationship, which finally made her decide to break off contact with T.I. Tiny also included information on T.I.'s violent past and ongoing infidelity in the divorce documents. She watched him abandon their marriage for years, then tried to make it seem like he was changing. However, those falsehoods added up, and Tiny wasn't just upset with King by the time he got into his own problem. As she looked at the guy who had reared him, she became aware that the cycle had never been broken. She ultimately disconnected T.I. for that reason. The realization that King wasn't forging his own route was the part that truly crushed Tiny. He was imitating T.I. King is currently plunging into the same pattern of incarceration that previously earned T.I. his reputation as a tough guy. Tiny became enraged when T.I. disowned King following his arrest, because he was rejecting his own reflection in her eyes. That's why the divorce documents were presented. Additionally, King's constant flexing of his guns shows how anxious he is for his father's praise. In fact, several individuals said that King purposefully entered the scene in order to receive jail time and boost his reputation when the arrest video went viral. Others claimed that he had finally established himself as a tough guy and merited the title he had been vying for years. Some people even think King does all of these things to gain his father's favor and attention, and it appeared that his pranks were successful. Do you recall how Boosie Badazz and T.I. had to inspect their sons on camera? 2D Raw, King and Boosie's son, was filming a music video. However, they seemed more interested in flaunting their firearms as if they were in a trap house or something. The dads took over at that point. When T.I. confronted King and asked him why he was so focused on being tough when there were girls around, you could hear the disappointment in his voice. It became a lengthy lecture. T.I. made it apparent that all it would take to ruin their life was one mishandled gunshot or the presence of anything unlawful. You can see for yourself how serious he and Boosie were at the time.
So motherfucking 12 pull up and they say, hey, who do you belong to? Who raised their hand? Somebody got to raise their hand.
I've been seeing him around too there a lot.
You gonna raise your own hand?
I've been seeing him around too.
Huh?
Well, when you got drugs, it ain't like.
I know that.
Y'all got drugs around those legal guns.
That called
It's not
possession of a firearm and commission of a crime, sir. That is a felony.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they weren't playing around. On the surface, it seemed that T.I. was making a concerted effort to explain to his son that the course he was taking would land him in jail. Tiny, however, was not impressed when she learned of what had transpired. In reality, she was upset with T.I. for publicly promoting their son's company in such a way. Furthermore, she wasn't pleased with his gun-wielding and tough-talking behavior. Since King was merely carrying out what he had saw his father do, she simply believed that T.I. was a few years too late. However, King's baby mama scandal was the final straw for Tiny. Tiny was shocked to learn that T.I. was about to become a grandfather once more, since King was expecting a kid when he made the announcement on a podcast. She thought T.I. was supporting their son's actions, but in reality, it was a really strange circumstance.
He just became a father, so I got 2 grandchildren now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way.
Wow.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me. I promise you, there will be an indictment in this young one.
Rumor had it that Big Nana, King's baby mama, was much older than King. Some even indicated that he was simply too young to recognize that she'd gotten together with him in order to score a bag. But King didn't give a shit. He gladly assumed the role of father and was ecstatic about the entire situation. King was ecstatic when their son was finally born in November 2024. He posted and boasted about his child. Embracing his role as a father to the fullest, he even penned a song titled Dear Son.
A lot of people hit me up like, King, I know you tired. You ain't getting no sleep. And the truth be told, before this little I ain't been getting no sleep. You know what I'm saying? I just been outside working. Lifestyle. You know, lifestyle just lifing. You know what I'm saying? And, but now I'm damn sure not getting no sleep. This up every morning. And then around the morning time, he like to do that little live concert I be doing with him. And, he like to walk around the house. So,
in which he rapped on becoming a better father and put the caption, November 5th, 8:09 a.m. Welcome, King Jr., it's your turn to lead. For a brief moment, it appeared as though King was truly prepared to mature as if fatherhood was teaching him to be more composed. The finest aspect, in Tiny's opinion, was that King was a present father who was making amends for the faults his own father had committed when he was a baby. The timing couldn't have been worse. Of course, King's arrest video was going viral online while he was playing Proud Dad. Reminding everyone that King was still in trouble, T.I. made an effort to be a helpful father during all of this. But he was unable to conceal his dissatisfaction for very long. And this was unacceptable to Tiny. The idea that T.I. was so ashamed of his son that he didn't want to live with him shattered Tiny's heart. Even though she may have ignored the other issues, therefore, the arrival of the divorce papers was not shocking. In a marriage that had been failing for years, it was the last straw. She's finished. Tiny. She's not trying to hide. She is no longer filling in for him. The only thing left to wonder is what T.I. will do next. For if he continues to remain silent as he has with King, this family may already be